The northern European country of Iceland is situated just below the Arctic Circle at the juncture of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans. With an area of 103,000 square kilometres, it is approximately 1.5 times the size of Tasmania. Since its settlement in the 9th century, its rule or sovereignty has changed hands between the countries of Norway and Denmark until becoming a republic in 1944. It is a country of ice-capped mountains, glaciers, volcanic eruptions, lava fields, geysers and waterfalls, shifting tectonic plates, Viking history and sagas, fairies and trolls, and unpronounceable place names. In addition to our cruise, Circumnavigating Iceland, we had booked a 3-day pre-tour, taking day trips out of the capital, Reykjavik. Day 1 took us to the Blue Lagoon, the best known of the many geothermal spas throughout Iceland. On the way, we passed through ancient lichen-covered lava fields, some thousands of years old. And then there were these that were caused by volcanic activity just a few weeks before our visit. There are strict hygiene rules at the lagoon, and everybody must shower thoroughly prior to getting into their bathers. The water temperature is a very pleasant 38 degrees. The lagoon gets its milky blue hue from the water having a high silica content. The water is actually a byproduct from a nearby power station, where superheated water is vented from the ground and used to run turbines that generate electricity. After going through the turbines, the steam and hot water passes through a heat exchanger to provide heat for a municipal water heating system. Then it goes into the lagoon. A drink from the bar is included in the experience, and you can have a mud pack for your face if you so desire.
Got a nice head on it.
Reykjavik, the largest city in Iceland, is located in the southwest on the shores of Faxaflói Bay. Out of Iceland's total population of about 390,000, 64% live in Reykjavik and its surrounding capital region. The city is modern, but there's not a skyscraper in sight, with high-rise buildings kept to a minimum. The skyline is instead dominated by its landmark Lutheran church, with its 745-metre high distinctive curved spire and side wings. The church, which was completed in 1986, also has an impressive interior, majestic in its simplicity and clean lines. Many of the roads, footpaths and driveways have under-pavement geothermal heating to melt the seasonal snow. It's been noted that Reykjavik is among the cleanest and safest cities in the world. The next day, we headed for our first of many waterfalls. Rather than take the long way around a fjord, we drove under it via a 6.4 kilometre tunnel. Quite an engineering feat. The water from this waterfall, called Ronfossa, seemed to come from nowhere, as it flows from out under a lava field. It covers an area of about 900 metres wide. Further up the river, is the more boisterous Barnafoss Falls. It was then onto the much anticipated experience of the day, the opportunity to go on and into a glacier. To get there, we hopped onto an 8-wheel drive bus, converted from a NATO missile launcher. The glacier we were heading for is called Langdrikol, Icelandic for Long Glacier. Once we had ground our way up to the top, we got to see the entrance to the tunnel that we were about to enter. Were we really going in there? To prevent our hiking boots getting too wet, we were supplied with waterproof boot covers and also elastic-fitted crampons, which act like spikes for better grip. Once we got down past the snow cover, it was all solid glistening ice. We were now in the longest man-made ice cave in the world. The tunnel now extends about 900 metres into the glacier, with the ice 25 metres thick above and 200 metres below.
This one is from 2010 and this one is from 2011.
Black lines in the ice were indications of when volcanoes occurred. We were quizzed on the name of the volcano that grounded airlines worldwide in 2010.
Does anyone know how to pronounce the name of the volcano here?
No.
Okay, so it's Eyjafjallajökull. Alright? And anyone who can pronounce it, by the end of the tour, we will leave you here until you can pronounce it.
One of the many challenges the tunnellers faced was coming across this crevasse. It was filled in with ice and a bridge added. There are several chambers, including a chapel. Yes, you can get married there. And there were tales of inappropriately clad brides turning blue. On our third day, before embarking on our cruise, we did what is known as the Golden Circle Tour. After travelling through scenic farmland, we arrived at Thingvellir National Park. Icelanders consider Thingvellir as the national shrine of Iceland, due to its great historical and geological significance. It was Iceland's first national park, being established in 1928, and is now recognised as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The landscape at Thingvellir is a uniquely formed rift valley in the divide of the North American and Eurasian continental plates. The lava fields have been torn apart by tectonic forces, resulting in this amazing gorge. The name Thingvellir means assembly plains. The Alþingi, or Iceland's parliament, was founded here around the year 930, making it the oldest operating parliament. The parliament continued to convene here until 1798. Many significant events of Iceland's history have taken place here, Icelanders considering it as the nation's birthplace. It is interesting to note that at the time we were there, All of Iceland's top leadership positions were held by women. Our guide Solar was enjoying this stretch of particularly warm spring weather. It was then on to a place that was even warmer, the Giza geothermal area. Along with all the bubbling and steaming pools is the drawcard geyser named Strokka. Strokka erupts every 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes shooting boiling water up to 30 or 40 metres high. Giza, the geyser that the area is named after, is much larger and can shoot as high as 70 metres. But these days, years can go between eruptions. Also on the Golden Circle Trail is the massive waterfall Gullfoss. The waterfall, which is on the Hvita River, is in 2 stages. The upper has a fall of 11 metres, while the lower plunges 21 metres into a crevice 32 metres deep. The waterfall was actually privately owned and only sold to the Icelandic government in 1979. Prior to that, there was talk of selling it to foreign investors to be used for generating electricity. The daughter of one of the owners is credited with saving the waterfall from exploitation and foreign control. This was done through legal channels and reportedly by threatening to throw herself down the falls. It was then back to Reykjavik to board our ship, the Fridtjof Nansen. This was to be home for the next 8 nights. We found it to be perfectly adequate. Not that much time was spent in the cabin. All cabins are outside ones and have a window. We were soon underway, getting great views of the city. Our port of call the next morning was Grundarfjordur on our clockwise circumnavigation. The first thing you see is the predominant and much photographed Kirkjufell, which translates to Church Mountain. Grundarfjordur is a small town with a population of only 8 to 900. Its main industries are fishing and fish processing, and more recently tourism. From the town, we did a tour of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, which juts out into the North Atlantic Ocean. The peninsula offers dramatic landscapes and examples of most of the natural wonders found in Iceland, and is often called miniature Iceland. There is very little in the way of native animals in Iceland, most animals being either Icelandic horses or sheep and cattle, so a colony of seals becomes quite a feature. This large figure in rock represents Bardur Snæfellsnes, half troll, half man, protector of the peninsula. The sheer black volcanic cliffs have become precarious-looking bird roosts. A natural rock arch seemed the ideal spot for another photo opportunity. We were lucky to spot an Arctic fox, the only native mammal to be found in Iceland. He was molting his winter coat and not looking his best. There were more fascinating rock formations on the path leading down to Djupalonsandur beach. Beside the path is a peculiar hole in a rock where you can frame a photo of the Snæfellsjökull Glacier. The beach itself is referred to as a black lava pearl beach. The beach is also the site of a 1948 shipwreck. The cove was once the site of a thriving fishing village. These 4 stones, ranging in weight from 23 to 155 kilogram, were used to test the strength and suitability of fishermen. The names of the stones translated to useless, weakling, half-strong and full-strong. The next morning, we found ourselves in the West Fjords region, approaching the town of Isafjordur. We had to be a little patient for another ship to dock before us. Tucked away in the far northwest, the West Fjords region is even more isolated and sparsely populated than other parts of Iceland. This isolation has helped to preserve its unspoilt nature and Icelandic folklore culture. Only about 10% of Iceland's visitors ever see the region. In the morning, we took a drive out of town, past great scenery and through another tunnel to see the largest waterfall in the region. In fact, it was a total of 6 waterfalls, with the main one, Jinjandi, at the top. The height of the waterfall is 100 metres. The climb itself had us warmed up, only to be cooled down by the spray at the top. Back in Isafjordur, we spent the rest of the day exploring the town. Amongst the colourful and well-maintained homes and buildings in the older part of the town, you can still find some with the original timber planking. These have survived due to the town escaping any disastrous fires. Timber is scarce in Iceland, as trees are generally not tall, due to the shallow depth of soil not supporting large roots. Once a heavily forested land, now has about 1.9% forest cover due to historical deforestation. The local advice is, if you happen to get lost in an Icelandic forest, stand up. It was noted that our ship was not the one emitting pollutants into the clean Icelandic air. The next day, another beautiful morning, another town, and another pilot boat to usher us in. We were now on the north coast at the town of Akureyri, which is the largest outside the capital region of Reykjavik. It is sometimes referred to as the capital of North Iceland. We were off again on another day excursion with more amazing scenery. And yes, another waterfall. But you never tire of waterfalls, not when they are this massive. Its name is Grundarfjordur. You may have worked it out by now, but if a name ends in foss, it's a waterfall. In this case, Grundarfjordur means the waterfall of the gods. Legend has it that when Iceland was converted to Christianity in the year 1000, pagan idols were cast into its waters. It was spring, and wildflowers were taking advantage of the sunny weather. When I was researching a lake named Mývatn before our trip, I was warned about the possibility of having to cope with annoying but harmless midges. It was recommended to toss your fly nets into the suitcase, just in case. The weather was warm and the midges were in full force. That was a thumbs up to us. We found out later that the name of the lake translates to the Lake of Midges. Many of the small hills and islands were caused by steam explosions when hot lava hit the water. These are called pseudo-craters or false craters. The lake is also known for its prolific bird life, but we didn't see many birds. I guess they were hiding from the midges. Passing a bluer than blue pondage, we entered a completely contrasting landscape. This was an active geothermal area with bubbling mud and steaming fissures or fumaroles. It was also a bit on the nose. The temperatures of the hot springs and superheated steam can be more than 100 degrees C. The lava fields at Dimmuborga are sometimes referred to as the Dark Fortress. About 2,300 years ago, molten lava pooled over a small lake and wetland, similar to what happened at Movatten. But this time, as the lava flowed over the lake, the explosive steam and gases caused the lava to form volcanic caves and grotesque rock formations. In Icelandic folklore, Dimmuborga is said to connect Earth with the infernal regions. It is also said in Nordic Christian lore that Dimmuborgan is the place where Satan landed when he was cast from the heavens, creating Helveti's Catacomba, the catacombs of hell. Back in the town of Akureyri, we visited a set of traffic lights. Why would we want to do this? Traffic lights are the same, red, amber, green, all over the world. During the financial crisis, to boost morale and as part of their Smile with Your Heart campaign, they installed red hearts in the traffic lights. This could only happen in Iceland. It was a suitably bleak morning as we rounded the tip of Grimsey Island, hoping to get a glimpse of the adjustable spherical marker that indicated the Arctic Circle.
We have officially crossed the Arctic Circle, so welcome to my domain up in the cold north.
And then it's time for something that has been a tradition for many, many years, and it is since 1893 actually. And it is the Arctic Circle ceremony. 1, 2, 3.
No! Make way for the king! Make way!
Have entered my domain and are expecting good weather? No?
After the baptism, it's a spoonful of cod liver oil, followed by a shot of distilled spirit, nicknamed the Black Death.
What did you think of that?
Cold.
Back on the mainland and normality, we docked at the town of Husavik, known as the whale-watching capital of Europe. Husavik, with its landmark wooden church, has a population of about 2,500. Our expedition on this day was a tour of geological features referred to as the Diamond Circle Tour. Once in the Bakkagerdi National Park, we hiked through a stark and stony landscape to Dettifoss. You guessed it, another waterfall. This monstrous behemoth of a waterfall officially holds the title as the most powerful waterfall in Europe. With a drop of 45 metres, 438,000 litres of water crosses its 100-metre wide bow every second. We had a full panoramic view of what's known as the Whispering Rocks from a viewing point above the cliffs. These basalt columns, in all different shapes and sizes, are crater plugs, remains of ancient volcanoes. They are known for their echoes and acoustic qualities. The sounds from the river echo all around you, like whispers. Some of the columns are characterised by swirls and patterns. At Aspergi Canyon, the shelter of the gods, we walked through a woodland of birch and willow before arriving at a small lake. The near vertical walls of the horseshoe-shaped canyon are up to 100 metres high. Geologists believe the canyon was most likely formed by a catastrophic glacial flooding, whereas legend states that the horseshoe-shaped canyon was formed by the hoof of an enormous 8-legged horse, ridden by Odin, the one-eyed god of war and death. By now, we had had our fill of amazing rock formations and spectacular waterfalls, and were looking forward to our next port of call, Bakkagerdi and its puffin colony. As the port is only suitable for small fishing vessels, we needed to be ferried across by the Zodiacs. We impatiently waited for our turn. We were nearing the end of our cruise, and luckily the weather still remained perfect.
Here, there should be some available over there.
After disembarking, we took the short walk and a climb up to the colony. The puffins can be seen nesting here from mid-April to mid-August. The viewing area is well set up, giving safe and close access to the puffins with less impact on the birds. Better than falling into a burrow or down a cliff. Colonies of fulmars and kittiwakes roost on the nearby cliffs. Once we had dragged ourselves away from the puffins and had to wander around the harbour, we took a shuttle bus into the village and joined a town walk. The hamlet of Bakkagerdi is basically a fishing village, but tourism is now boosting its economy. After meeting up with our guide, he's the one in shorts, we visited several buildings, including the wooden church, consecrated in 1901. The painting above the altar depicts the Sermon on the Mount, with local landmarks in the background. The turf house, with its shed, is the only one remaining of many that would have been along the seafront in the early 1900s. In 2019, the previous owner, Stella, gave the house to the municipality. It's an invaluable memorial of old times and habits and construction methods. A reminder that Iceland didn't escape World War II. In 1942, a sea mine washed ashore and detonated, destroying a house. We learnt that the eider-down industry is fast overtaking the fishing industry, with many farms now specialising in eider duck farming. 1 kilogram, which would come from 50 to 60 nests, is worth about $1,200 Australian. At another factory, we got to sample dried fish in the form of a snack. Not bad, one could get used to it. The next morning, we sighted a group of islands known as the Vestermayers Archipelago. Heimaey, the largest island of the group, was where we would spend the last day of our cruise before disembarking back at Reykjavik the following morning. As the pilot boat darted from one side to the other, we passed by a house on a hill. Yes, that hill. From the angle we were viewing the entrance from, made us wonder how we were going to fit. As for myself, I got distracted by all the colours on the cliffs and of all the bird activity. By the time I had peered over the port side, we were just about through. At 1:55 a.m. on January the 23rd, 1973, the islanders were awakened when a 1.6 kilometre long fissure opened up at the edge of town and proceeded to spew out lava and ash. With the alarm sounded, the residents rushed down to the harbour. Fortunately, due to a recent storm, most of the fishing fleet was still in port. The fishing boats were used to evacuate the whole population to the mainland, a total of about 5,000 people. Only a few volunteers remained. Lava flows were threatening to cut off the entrance to the harbour, which could have been disastrous as the harbour is crucial to the fishing industry and the island's economy. Something had to be done. An innovative solution was put into action. Using a network of pipes, pumps and fire hoses, they sprayed seawater onto the lava flow, slowing its advance and redirecting its flow. The total of the lava coverage was 3.3 square kilometres, with an area of 2.4 square kilometres being added to the size of the island. Approximately 400 buildings were destroyed or buried. There was one fatality. Prior to this eruption, there hadn't been any volcanic activity on the island for around 5,900 years. A favour the volcano did do for the town was to actually increase the size of the harbour. The new volcanic mountain is named Eldfell, or Fire Mountain. While on our town walk, our guide pointed out that the house that stood here is now 16 metres under the surface. A sign stands where a street used to be. Despite the damage and upheaval caused by the eruption, most people returned to the island, even though some had to start over again. There are indicators in town that show how high the volcanic ash got to. The population of Heimaey is now about 4,500. The town itself was pretty quiet. We pretty well had it to ourselves. There were the usual museums, novelty shops, and the chance to hug a puffin. As it was necessary for us to back out of the harbour, we set ourselves up at the stern. For our last night aboard ship, we were later treated to the chef's specialty, beef Wellington with mushrooms. At the completion of our cruise, we still had another night at Reykjavik before our flight home. This gave us the opportunity to go on a tour which is unique to Iceland, to be lowered into a dormant volcano. Now, I appreciate that this may not appeal to everyone, but after hearing reports on the experience, we were really looking forward to it. Bakkagerdi, which hasn't erupted for 4,500 years, is one of 3 peaks caused by 3 separate eruptions. Our guide explained that the molten magma that normally would cool and seal the volcano is believed to have drained away, leaving a huge cavity 200 metres deep. During the 3.5 kilometre hike to the volcano, we passed over the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, where the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates have moved, pulling the Earth apart. After being fitted out with our helmets and harnesses at the base camp, we did the final climb up to the top.
Yeah, so it's just sand, the black beaches. Yeah.
It was then over the bridge, over the hole, and onto the lift, which is a heavily modified platform, like that used for window cleaning on tall buildings.
Speed. 6.5 minutes to go. 120 meters, almost 400 feet. And we will start the trip by going through what we call a bottleneck. It's a tight spot, we barely fit the basket through. And it will be a little bit bumpy. At least the basket is going to move a little bit. We are going to drive down this wall. You can see we have tires on this side.
The crater walls tell the story of all the geological processes that have taken place tens of thousands of years before the eruption.
It's a natural opening. This is how nature left it. It's barely wide enough to fill it. And now we have a clear view all the way down to the bottom if you care to look over the edge. Still a long way to go. And for the first part, for the first 35, 40 meters, we are just slowly traveling inside the peak itself.
The first person to enter the volcano was a cave explorer named Arnie Stephenson back in 1974. Nothing was done about it until 1991, when it was explored more thoroughly. After the lift idea was perfected, it was open for tours in 2012.
Like I said earlier, this place erupted 4,500 years ago. All the rocks down here is basalt rock, with one exception, and that's the darkest part here at the bottom, the black part that runs down here. This is called tuff rock, Tuff, tuff rock, and this is the oldest part down here. We know this is from Ice Age. So all the rest is basalt. So where you see the dark spots in between, the dark color is the right color of the basalt. It just means a piece fell off when it was cooling down, but the front has been baked because of the massive heat that was going on here. And so different temperature creates different minerals when it oxidizes. So yellow is sulfur, green is copper, and red is iron.
Alexia also showed us some video of the unpronounceable volcano that erupted in March 2021.
People are just sitting here close by it.
Probably not the best thing to show us when we are standing inside a dormant, not extinct, volcano. We were then given plenty of time to do the rock scramble circuit walk around the base. We were told that the base we were stumbling around would have originated around the time modern humans first walked the planet, about 30 or 40,000 years ago. This Jules Verne journey to the centre of the earth type experience was an unforgettable conclusion to our truly wonderful Icelandic adventure.